Hi, this is Vivika from the Nourished Caveman, creator of the Healing Foods Method. Today, I have a really cool recipe for you. This is my first ketogenic recipe video, so I hope it's gonna be fun to make it together. The reason why I chose this specific recipe is because I know a lot of people had trouble to get keto crackers, to get to the right crispy consistency. So this is a very similar recipe to the easy grain-free crackers on my blog. And the process of making this cereal, keto cereal, is really similar. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this process step by step so that you can see exactly how to do it, and your crackers or your cereal will be just as delicious as it should be. So for this recipe, we are going to need a half a cup of chia seeds, 1 cup of water, 4 tablespoons of hemp seed hearts, 1 tablespoon of fine psyllium powder, not the big coarse flakes, the fine one, 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, 1 tablespoon of swerve, and 1 tablespoon of organic vanilla extract, the liquid one. You're also going to need a bowl and this handy tool. It's going to make our life a lot easier. What I'm going to use to roll the things out, the cereal out, is some parchment paper, which we're going to put in here. Okay, ready? Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to soak our chia seeds with water. I'm going to put them in my bowl and add a cup of water. So it's a ratio of 1 to 2. Half cup of chia seeds to 1 cup of water. And I'm just going to stir them a little bit, and so that they all get wet even. This is how our seeds are looking when we first put them in the water. I am going to stir once in a while so that all the seeds get evenly wet and they don't stick to the sides. As you can see, they're already starting to gel. About 2 minutes later, our seeds are absorbing the water and getting thicker and thicker. We want to wait about 5 minutes so that the seeds are thick but not completely soaked and not completely lost that crunch. We want to preserve some of the crunch in them. Okay, 5 minutes have gone by, and this is about the right consistency for our chia seeds. So we can move on to the next step. As you can see, they are gelling, they're sticking together, but they're still very workable and not solidified in one big chia ball. Once our chia seeds are at the consistency that we like, so we say not too solid and still having some crunch, we can start adding the next ingredients. We'll add the hemp seeds, our psyllium fiber, the swerve, and the vanilla. And here is where our automatic mixer, oh wait, I forgot. We need to add the coconut oil there. So basically we add everything else in at this point. And without making a major mess, we're going to try to mix it with the hand mixer. Now we got everything nicely mixed together with the mixer. So now I'm ready to add my chocolate chip in, and mix it. You can just mix it manually. I could have added it before, but I don't want to break out the nibs too small with the blender, the mixer, so that they retain a little bit of their big chunks, so that you do get some chocolatey bigger chunks in the dough. So as you can see, now we have a nice ball of dough forming in the bowl, and it balled up by itself. My next step is to roll out the dough between two pieces of parchment paper. So I am now going to cut two pieces and find which one is the non-stick side of the parchment paper. And then I'm going to measure another piece to go on top. And this would be much easier if it was in this box. So I can make a straight cut for it. There you go. And I'm going to put the bigger piece underneath. And I'm going to actually use these to roll it, you watch. So here is my bowl of dough, which is getting drier and drier by the minute. And I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to shape my dough a little bit more in the shape of a cylinder, so it's just easier to roll out. And you can flatten it a bit, whatever makes it easier for you to roll it out. Okay, here's my second piece of paper. I'm going to put the shinier side down, and then if you have a rolling pin, I don't, so I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to roll out my dough. Maybe a bottle of wine would have worked better. I don't think we have one in the house right now. It wasn't working very well, so I finally found an empty bottle of wine, and I'm going to start rolling this. And it might take a minute because the dough will stick a bit to the parchment paper, but you can slowly roll it out. And the thinner you can get it, you don't want it paper thin, but we want it something between 1/4 inch and 1/8 of an inch. Reasonably thin, so it's going to dry nicely in the oven. Forgot to mention to preheat the oven to 285 degrees. So I finally roll my dough out, and now I'm going to gently peel off the top layer of parchment paper and put it here. And what I'm going to use instead of a cookie sheet is the top of my grill pan for the oven, so that the dough will get some ventilation through it and some heat coming from the bottom. From the holes. If you don't have one of these, just put this on a cookie sheet and it will be just fine. So I'm going to move the whole thing on the parchment paper on my rack. You can see my dough is laid out pretty thin, and right now it's very wet, so it's really flexible. That's the sign that my oven is ready. So let's go put them in. Okay, we're ready to put them in the oven. 285 degrees for about an hour. Here I want to mention something very important. My oven temperature at 285 and your oven temperature at 285 might be slightly different. So it is very important that you do check the progress at about 45 minutes to check the progress of our cereal, because it might not quite be the same. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back here in 45 minutes and we're going to see how it looks. I'm going to turn it at that point. And then, depending on the power of your oven, we might need more or less time individually. So you will need to check the progress of your dough individually as it dries. it's been about half an hour, and depending on the thickness of your dough and the power of your oven, your times might vary by 10, 15, even 20 minutes. So I think we're pretty good now. And look at our cereal. It got a nice golden brown color. Okay, we can remove this from our rack, and you can see it's still flexible, but don't worry, it's gonna get crunchy once it gets cold. So what I'm gonna do is just cut it. I bunch them all together so they're easier to cut now. And voila! Now I'm gonna let it cool down for another 10-15 minutes until it gets nice and crunchy. Okay, so here is your cereal ready to go. We can store some in an airtight glass container, and it will store for a couple of days, and the rest you can just enjoy. Okay, and here is our cereal ready to enjoy. I poured some simple full-fat coconut milk on it, and I am going to mix it in, and smells delicious and it looks pretty good. Shall we do the test? Crunchy test? Let's see. It's crunchy. Vanilla and chocolatey. Yes, it's definitely giving me that cereal feeling.
That's why it was like, okay, hold on.
It's gonna start recording right away.
It's recording, yeah.
Hi, this is Viveka from the Nourished Caveman and creator of the Healing Foods Method. Hi, this is Viveka from the Nourished Caveman.
Again.
Hi, this is Viveka from the Nourished Caveman.